right. I think we're live. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
What's going on out there, ladies and gents?
All right. Let's get all these intros out the way. As always, we appreciate you being here. Thank you for tuning in to DFG Podcast. This is DFG Podcast 022. And we are, of course, here on Drama Free Gaming on YouTube. Appreciate you hanging out with us. We're also over on Mixer.com. Hey, go over there. Show us some love. I've noticed that the dial hasn't moved there. And I stream on both Mixer and here on YouTube. So it's not just one platform or one or the other. It's the two platforms I've decided to just, go ahead and put this content on. So we are there at Mixer.com/Endtime. That's XEND XTIMEX. Also, you can catch Dark Dad 99, who is our co-host here. As I always introduce him, my brother from another mother. Jay, talk to these people. What's going on?
What it is. How you people doing? I hope every day is a good day and not a bad one. Even though we're going through a nice little bad spell, but it's going to get better.
I've lost all track of time, to be honest. I have to constantly check the calendar to see what day of the week it is, and not to mention what day of the month it is. It just feels like the days fall into one another. You're not feeling that?
Yeah, well, I haven't been to work in 6 weeks, so
okay.
It's not that I don't have a sense of time. It's just legitly the days have kept going, and I just don't care anymore. It's I know what day it is. I just don't know. I just don't care about anything else.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people's worlds have been literally routine-wise and everything-wise have been flipped upside down. People who were out there doing what they needed to do are now secluded at home, and it's been a tough time for a lot of people. I'm hoping, praying that we get back to it here, hopefully in a safe manner, and we can just put this behind us and get on with it, Jay. So we got a lot to talk about, Jay. A whole lot of topics, but I want to start off like I always do. What have you been playing? What are you playing now? First of all, let me ask you that, because this game is looking like a Sega Master System game.
Well, this is Neo Geo, and it's a game called Twinkle Star Sprites, and it's a shooter puzzler. And it gets wild. It's hard to sometimes keep up with what's on the screen, but it is probably one of the funnest games I ever played. Came out in 1996.
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, it's colorful. It looks like I call them happy games. It's just full of color and joy and bunnies.
That's the perception that it gives you until the controller flies across the room.
Okay. Oh, were you one of those, man? You like to throw your controller across the room?
Back in the golden age, yeah.
Man. Back when you ain't have to pay for it, right?
Exactly. Now you got to think about that throw.
Oh man.
And I've been playing, as I told everybody in the last podcast, Persona 5 Royale was on my list, and Persona 5 Royale is what I am playing.
Okay.
So it is a good game. All that I cracked is all that I wanted to be, and then some. How about you, brother?
Me, what I've been playing? Well, and it's gonna be part of the topics of what we're gonna speak tonight. But I finally rolled the credits on The Last of Us, and we're gonna get into that here as a conversation here in a minute. But yeah, great game, great story. 6 years later, I rolled the credits after having started the game multiple times.
This brother says 6 years.
6 years
later.
Man. 6 years later, and I remained spoiler free for those 6 years. So it could be done. And
so you're saying you had no life?
I I stay away from the stuff I don't want to know about and not see. I mean, I know that there's a lot of people that, say, man, it's so tough in the age of, social media to stay away from being spoiled. But I managed to stay away from being spoiled 6 years. I mean, no kidding. Like, I roll the credits, and the first person that I told, other than texting you, as it was about midnight, it was my son. And when I told him, he was like, man, I think you just broke like another record, because it took me just as long to, no, not just as long. It took me a year and change to beat God of War 2, was it? Or 3? No, 3.
Wow.
The last one.
Wow.
I had like jumped into it, played, and then I stopped and never went back to it. And then when I did finally pick it up, it was like a year and a half later. I kid you not.
Wow. Man,
so
we gotta get you caught up.
Yeah, which is going to, like, again, we're gonna spark up that conversation. And I don't know if I should call this a spoiler-free podcast, even though the game is 6 years old. So when we get to that, I'll let you guys know if you're like me, a rare species that you have not rolled credits on The Last of Us, and you're planning on doing that before, The Last of Us 2, if you're considering playing that, even in the midst of all the controversy, which I am not aware of any details on that. I'm just leaving that one alone. I'll let you guys know. So played that, and I am playing Resident Evil 2.
It's a treat, y'all. It's a treat.
Oh man, what a I'm an hour into it, and again, I'm gonna get into the details of it. But thanks to Jay, DarkDad99, again, check him out on Mixer.com. Give him some love. I told him I'm interested in playing the game, and he said, "Okay, I'm gonna get it for you, brother, but under one condition. You have to play it with your camera rolling." So we started streaming it last night, and what a blast. I just gotta I'm gonna reserve that one. I'm gonna reserve it so we can speak more in detail. So
yeah. Nah, just get it out the way, baby. Get it out
you
want
to jump right into that one. That's what you want to talk about.
You done already kicked it off, man.
Okay, that's what you want to talk about. So we'll start off with Resident Evil 2, the remake. Let me preface it by saying that you can catch me streaming the game. I will be streaming again on both YouTube at Drama Free Gaming, on Mixer.com /endtime XENDXTIMEX. That's my gamer tag on all platforms. And I preface it by saying, God honest truth, I do not play, up until Resident Evil 2, the horror genre. I don't like to be scared or made anxious or stressed out, which is everything that Resident Evil 2 has accomplished. In the first hour, my first session of playing this game, I was stressed. 15 minutes in, I was already looking at the stream and saying to myself, how long have I been playing? Because I was ready to quit. That's how stressed out I was.
This brother was ready to run.
I was running. I wasn't running fast enough, man. I think I made a comment during the stream when I was playing. And mind you guys, if you're going to go catch that, I'm not going to be looking at chat. I can't focus on the chat and play a game like Resident Evil 2 at the same time. And I know that a lot of you guys out there have played the game. Jay has ended it multiple times, and he made me aware today when we were talking earlier today that he was actually watching the gameplay, and he was putting codes and trying to help me in the chat. And I didn't see none of it. I mean, at the end of the video, I think I said, or at the end of the stream, I said, I apologize, guys, if you are posting in the chat. I didn't even turn on the chat, to be honest. All I had was the game up, and that was it.
Now, well, let me ask you this. What are your likes and dislikes about the game?
Well, I'm only an hour into the game. Let me start off by saying that I never played the original. I played Resident Evil, the first one. I think that was on PlayStation, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it
And
was.
yeah, it was on PlayStation, right? And so it was one of the first games that I experienced on my PlayStation. And as quickly as I picked it up, I put it down. And it wasn't so much that the game was scary. I mean, I was much younger. When did that game come out, Jay?
Uh, RE2
No, Resident Evil,
definitely.
the first one,
Resident Evil was in the 90s. I
in the
think 92.
90s. So
Yeah,
you're
like
you're talking
95.
about I was, let's see, I was like 16, 15, around that, yeah, around that age. Yeah. So it wasn't that I was scared or anything. I mean, I picked it up. The thing I did not like about Resident Evil, and it's funny because I had no problem playing Tomb Raider. I actually kept playing Tomb Raider, but I put Resident Evil down because the tank controls were horrible. And we're talking about during a time where we didn't have the dual analog sticks.
Oh,
You remember that,
uh,
right?
yeah, you going way,
Yeah,
way
that's how
back.
that's how the PlayStation was, the first PlayStation.
Yeah, it was all tank controls,
It
and they
was all
changed it
tank
over
controls,
time.
yeah. Yep. And
Yeah,
so that was the major put off for me. I just felt like, and maybe the stress of the game. I'm just trying to think back. I mean, I'm thinking back to, to when I was like 15, and for me, it was not a pleasant experience. Just playing with those tank controls, never got into it. And again, I was never a fan of horror in the first place, so Resident Evil was quickly off my radar. Not to say that it was a bad game, it just wasn't appealing to me. So playing Resident Evil 2 now, night and day. The controls are great. The look of the game, it's been redone. I mean, it's definitely a
yes.
remake. I was impressed from the moment I loaded up on my Xbox One X, is where I'm playing it. The game looked great, felt great. I know that when it originally came out, I think there was an issue with the frame rate. Was there, or was that
Uh,
Resident Evil 3?
that was Resident Evil 2. Well, they both had their issues,
Right.
but I mean, two had some frame rate issues, but it also depended on what you played it on.
Right, right, right. But I've kind of like tried to discipline myself that if there's a game that I want to play, unless it's a game that I have to play like day one, launch date, I try to give it a couple of weeks, let it like just stew, come out. Because most games, if not almost all games, are coming out with these day one patches, and then they continue patching the game for like weeks on end. So the game doesn't really like settle in and settle down until about, maybe a couple of weeks afterwards. And that's unfortunate, but that's just the times we live in and the reality of gaming. So like I haven't touched Ori,
Oh
and
yeah,
I haven't touched it. And the Blind Forest is what it's called, in the Blind Forest.
you've been waiting on that too.
I'm just sitting on it. Like when it came out, the reason that game didn't get a 10 was because of the issues with the frame rates, and and some other things in there. But now I've heard that they've cleaned it up, they patched it up, and so when I go to play that game, I'm not gonna experience those things that were there day one. So
And
I'm
that's
kind
a
of glad that I did the same for Resident Evil 2.
well, it came out in early 2018, so they had
Hmm.
plenty of time to.
Yeah.
And there's a couple secrets in the game in RE2 that definitely lead you to RE3. So I'm not going
Yeah.
to tell you what they are. You will definitely figure it out.
Yeah,
Just
the fun of it is, Jay, that, and we were talking earlier today, that the fun is, I didn't know, honestly, guys, I did not know that this game had like a puzzle solving element to it, so it's not just run and gun. And I know I'm probably talking to people who have played it and it's like, yeah, I know this, nothing new. But for me, a newcomer, I feel like I'm a newcomer to the series. I was not aware that it had, this puzzle solving, which makes you explore. And so far, I'm only an hour and change into the game, and I'm only gonna play the game probably 1 hour sessions because it really fatigues me, to be honest.
Uh,
Like,
I'll
I
put it to you
mean,
this way, brother. If you fatigue now, just wait.
oh man, I know, there's worse coming, but it's a good type of fatigue. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm playing it, I'm just soaking in it because I really am enjoying the experience, and I'm only again an hour into the game, and I'm already like wrapped up into the story. I like the way it looks, the way it handles, and just the whole. I not once, other than being anxious and stressed out, I didn't think about putting the controller down. Like, I wanted to go explore the next thing. I wanted to open the next door, solve the next puzzle, or get the next piece of the puzzle. And so the game feels like it has a good pace. It keeps you engaged, and when you open something or discover something and you feel like you accomplished something, but then you realize you got 3 or 4 more things to do. And so you got to like go back to that dark room, go back to that zombie infested place that you don't want to go to.
That's
So
true.
it's cool. It's really good.
You'll definitely discover there are cool things that you can do, and there are things you'll be like, do I really need to?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
So,
I'm sure.
but
I'm
you
good.
gotta work on your item. You gotta work on your item management, though.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you that.
Yeah, no, in the beginning I noticed when we got to the police station, I noticed like immediately the typewriter. That was cool to like save your game. And then right behind it is the storage box. And I was saying to myself, okay, there's going to be a level of, inventory management. And so I just got to be wise about what do I think I need. And obviously, in games like that, you thinking I need everything. Like, I can't leave nothing
Yeah.
behind. But
Well,
but
call
yeah,
it
but it's pretty good.
what's that TV? What's that TV show? Phone a friend when like I'm stuck. I need to phone a
A
friend.
lifeline? I forget what it is.
Yeah, I need a lifeline.
Oh man. But yeah,
But
but
I'm
I'm gonna
glad you enjoyed it though.
yeah, I'm glad. And again, the game is sponsored by, and the videos are sponsored by Dark Dad 99, aka
Oh,
Jay.
wow.
He's made it happen. He purchased the game out of his own volition, no coercion. The only conditions was to stream it and have my camera on, which I've gotten used to not having my camera on. When I first started streaming, that was a big thing for me, like have the camera, have the green screen. But now, I don't really think much of it, So I don't know. Maybe that'll change in the future. Who knows?
Well, and ladies and gentlemen, please, we will do stuff like this. I don't mind purchasing games. I don't mind playing games. He doesn't mind playing games. But we need your input. Leave some commentary. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
We will gladly put it out there.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. I mean,
if you don't
like
know what you think,
any channel, and I'll make it even simpler. Like, like any channel, whether on YouTube, whether on a podcast, we're gonna put our pitch out there and say, hey, you like the content, leave a comment, maybe, hit that thumbs up if you're on YouTube, a like, whatever, and subscribe, and that's all good. It's all about that entertainment. I'm not after it, to be honest. I think we have 185, 87 actually, and counting as far as subscribers. But I mean, look at people who've been doing this far longer than I have, and us doing this podcast. I mean, we're on podcast number 22, and you know, you think about a channel just comes out of nowhere. No, it's work. You know, you put that content in, and we try to do our best with, you know, messing around with this and that, and trying to make the sound quality better and the gameplay entertaining and the video look right. And you know, talking about that, I'm on a little like picnic table right now, and I can't wait for June, the beginning of June, to get my 72-inch, you know, table. Is gonna be stretching across my room, literally.
This brother said he gotta wait till June
I
to
gotta
get a
wait.
tape.
That's how things are, man. I mean, you know, everything's got to get delivered. You can't go to the store and pick it up. So they're like, you know what? It's not a priority. It's gonna take at least a month. I ordered it like 2 weeks ago.
Did you get it from IKEA?
Yeah, from IKEA. Yep.
Really? And
Yes.
it's gonna take them.
Yes.
Wow.
And IKEA, for me, if I was to go to IKEA from where I live right now, it's less than an hour for me to get there. I could go there, pick up what I need to pick up, but they're not, you know, since you can't go to the store and you can't pick it up, it has to be delivered. That's the only service that they're offering. So, I mean, don't even get me started. I mean, my wife bought us a new like box bed, whatever. We got the mattress and 3 of the 4 boxes, and we've been waiting over a month for that last box.
God.
Yeah. Right now, currently, I mean, I'm not hurting. I'm sleeping literally on that brand new mattress on the floor. And we've been like that for like a month and a half. So, but you know, it is what it is, man. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that that's just a reality. But once that table comes, it's not only going to be a setup. I'm going to get rid of this picnic table. But the setup is going to be, it's going to literally stretch from my current computer. I have an L-shaped computer desk in the corner. That's like my study and class area that I have for myself, and my daughter does her classes during the school year. But then off to the side of that, from the edge of that table all the way across to the other end of the room, it's about 72 inches. So you do the math in feet if you want to convert that. And that's going to be my my setup. I'm gonna have my keyboard there, move my monitor over, get my gaming computer off the floor. I gotta go behind the wall again. It's gonna be a job, brother. I already got the HDMI cables to run them. I'm ready for 8K. Put it that way, with them cables. So yeah, some exciting stuff that's coming up, and we're putting in that work just to make, again, the quality of what we do better and better and better. So, you know, when Jay asks you for, you know, a thumbs up, some comments and whatnot, appreciate it if you just take the time and you do that. So, and not just with me, just with anybody out there putting content. So cool. Jay, what you've been playing other than Persona 5, or is that like your focus? I think we lost Jay. Did we lose Jay? Well, he's playing, but I don't hear the audio. So, Jay, are you there? Jay fell out. So Jay has to come back in. That's what happens when I just blab. I didn't hear him. He's playing, but he needs to come back in. So, got the screen up. So whenever he comes back in, we'll bring him in. So RE2, Resident Evil 2, has been great, continues to be great. I'm an hour into it, guys, and we'll just keep streaming and playing, and you know, we're just gonna keep having fun doing what we're doing. So let me look over here on the let's see where we at. All right, I'm just gonna give Jay an opportunity to come back in. So, talked about Resident Evil 2. Wanted to also speak about a game that got announced today on Nintendo. And if you guys give me a moment, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep talking so there'll be no dead air. But a game that was announced today, Paper Mario. Now, Paper Mario is a game. My first experience with Paper Mario was on the Wii, believe it or not. And so, you back with us, Jay? You fell off. What happened?
Discord crashed, and I don't know
Oh,
why.
okay. It's all right.
So
Well, I was just
I got
talking
it back.
about. And I noticed that you fell off. So, brought you back in. So, welcome back.
Thank you.
Mario. Did you see the announcement for Paper Mario?
Play Paper
Origami
Mario
King.
back on. Yeah, Paper Mario made his debut on N64.
Yeah, on N64. And I was just sharing here a little bit while you was coming back on. My first experience with Paper Mario was actually on the Wii.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I had never played the series, and I saw the announcement. Nintendo, man. What can you say? Nintendo just coming out of nowhere and saying, "Oh, let's just introduce another new game. Here you go, Paper Mario Origami King," and
you
release
really
like
think
a
this is out of
2-minute trailer on
nowhere?
that.
I doubt this is out of nowhere. This is Nintendo we talking about.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying out of nowhere. They have it in their cards, but I'm saying, if you're out there and you're kind of like expecting them to do a Nintendo Direct, and I hear certain people that are like, oh, they haven't done a Nintendo Direct in a month and yada yada yada. Like, you and I know, or at least we acknowledge, that Nintendo's gonna do what Nintendo's gonna do on their schedule and all that other stuff. But it almost seems that Nintendo's swag, bro, because you can't get a Switch anywhere. They're all sold out. I think they just sold over 53 million units.
It took down the PlayStation 2?
Well, no. Yeah. I think so. 53
Wow.
million units. And this is their third year that the Switch has been out. If I'm not mistaken.
That's crazy.
It's nuts. It's nuts. Anyways. But yeah, 53 million. They are on pace to actually catch up and surpass the Wii as the best-selling Nintendo console.
Well, they might get best-selling console of all time.
Who knows?
Which is held by PlayStation 2.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, in less time, and a lot of people are going to attribute, again, COVID, everybody being indoors. But the reality is like Animal Crossing has sold over, I think, 20 million already. And if you try to go get a Switch now, under the sound of my voice, if you try to go get a Switch right now, you're not going to find a Switch unless it's bundled. And you're going to get it either with Animal Crossing. I think Splatoon 2 just sold over 10 million.
Good Lord.
Luigi's Mansion over 1 million. Mario Kart is up there like in 25 million. I mean, these are just astronomical numbers for these games and these units. Nintendo's on a roll.
Well, Nintendo's the only one that seems to be able to do it. And I hate to say it this way, guys, but I got to get it off my chest. Nintendo believes of anything but family. I don't never see them get involved with politics. And that's what I respect and love Nintendo for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to say it. I'm sorry.
No, you don't be sorry about it. It's the truth. I forget what the game was. I think it was Splatoon 2, where there was an attempt to bring some sort of, politicalized, is that's the word? I don't even think I'm pronouncing it right. Politicized message. I'm not gonna go into the specifics, but it was shot down by Nintendo quickly. They were like, nope, that's not what we're about. and they completely took it out of their game, and it was in Splatoon 2.
You know what? That's why I gotta say I got a lot of respect for Reggie, man, because at least he kept it real.
Yeah, you know what? Gaming. It's gaming. I believe the gaming should be accessible to anyone and everyone, but
100% agree.
but never for it to become a platform where you're going to try to, pass off your messaging on what you believe the world should be, or what you believe the world needs or doesn't need, or blah 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 blah. Like leave that out of my games,
Well,
and my game space.
I'll say it just like anybody else should say it. The gaming world is a fantasy. I just want to chill. I don't want to think about any other crazy crap. And my time take up. I get to sit down and relax, rest my soul for a minute. I don't need all the extra stuff. The world is
Yeah.
hard enough to think about.
Yeah, I mean, there's games out here for anyone and everyone. And that's just how I feel about it. Like, but anyways, I don't even want to go down that path, but enough said with that. Nintendo again just made that announcement today. I saw it like 30 minutes after it had been announced, because I was just thumbing through YouTube and saw it front and center, and the game looks immense and it looks really nice. And the thing is, it's going to be portable.
Well,
You're going to be able to play it on your
wow.
Switch handheld, and if you still have the OG Switch or even the 2.0 to dock it, it's going to look really nice on your TV. And they got another hit.
Oh, I'm definitely be checking it out. My Switch is going to have to get some attention soon. The kids already run wild with it. I haven't had my alone time with it yet.
Yeah,
You know what
well,
I'm saying? I
you
gotta.
you haven't really like found anything on the Switch that you want to play, right?
Well, there's some really good games. You got Xeno Chronicles, Luigi's Mansion 3, Bravely Default. There are some games that I would sit down and play. I just haven't made the move yet because I got other games I got to catch up on and play.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, like, none of them, like, those games that you mentioned are great, but none of those games have really like pulled you in. Like, oh, I'm gonna drop what I'm playing right now and I'm gonna play this. Like, that hasn't happened to you yet for the
Not
Switch,
just
for the
yet.
Switch platform.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I got Farming Simulator because my son enjoys playing it. Of course, I got Smashed, which, if you listen to the podcast, you already know.
Right.
And I got the Curse of the Moon? It's a Metroidvania game.
Okay. Sounds familiar.
And yeah, I got it and I like it, and it's definitely something that'll occupy your time when you just need to chill out. And that's what I love about the Switch. So portable, so fun. Work with. God, it's just so lovable.
Yes, like, who would have, I'll be honest, when I first saw the Switch being advertised and saw people, in the advertisement taking this, hybrid dockable / portable system out and about, playing it on rooftops and taking it to, like, parties and stuff, I was like, man, this is kind of garbage. It's the first thing I said. And this is coming from someone who I owned the Wii and the Wii U. And I didn't think the Wii U was a bad system. It got a bad rap. It had a lot of good games. But the Wii U, looking back now, was like a half step leading towards the Switch, in my
Really?
opinion.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, the whole it was a time where, if you remember, the criticism that the Wii U got was, one, the name was terrible. You know, you had the Wii system, which came out during a time where it just brought people together to play, and that was during a time of quote unquote recession. Much like, you know, crisis that we're going through now, the Switch fits in so perfectly because you can just, you know, grab that and go hide in a corner somewhere and play. The
Yeah.
Wii brought people together when there was no money, no extra money to go out and go to a movie, go eat. No, you just stayed home and you played Wii bowling, Wii golf.
Hey,
You know,
we
that's what
bowling
you
was a
did.
joint, man. I
Man,
love
that
some
was
bowling.
mad fun. Yeah,
Oh man.
I stumbled upon my Wii. I got the Wii without even looking for it. Like, I knew the hype was out there and everybody was like after one. And I kid you not, one evening I walked into Walmart. I went to electronics section. I was there, I don't know for what. And there were like two Wii systems behind the glass. And I had to like do a double take. And I said, wait a minute, that's a Wii system. Like, those are really hard to get now. And I just decided to pick one up. I said, I'm going to grab one of these. But I wasn't like out looking for a Wii. Not at all. I mean, I think my 360. I was still playing my 360. I was happy. I was like, I don't need a Wii. But you best believe when I played that game, the bowling, which was the first thing, I said, oh, this is dope. I don't know how much bowling I played.
That game, you do it the right way, you get that ball. I do the ultimate curve, like, oh, that's a gutter ball. Curve all the way back.
Now tell me you used to play it the right way though. You used to get up and like approach your screen, you know, and like you had a real bowling ball.
No, I was a man. Come on, it's me, man.
I'm just saying, man. I mean, I see people sitting on the couch playing bowling. I'm like, that's not how you're supposed to play that, man. You're supposed to get up and, you know, it's a simulation.
True, but at the same time, it's your money and you play it how you feel.
Brother, listen, don't give me that whole it's your money, you play how you want. The Wii was supposed to get you up off your butt and you were supposed to like get into it. Did you play it that way? Like, you never answered the question.
I mean, okay. Yeah, I did. I mean,
okay, all right. That's all I want to know. I don't want to get on your case about it.
I played on my feet.
Okay. I'm just saying that was the whole design of like that controller, you know, the motion controllers, and you know, that was a revolutionary thing about it. Like, you know, you were supposed to get up and interact. And remember, it told you like after like a half hour or 45 minutes of playing, like a message would pop up saying, hey, you know, go outside, like pretty much turn off the game and go outside.
Oh, I remember that.
You remember that, right?
I remember that. But you know, Nintendo's always put family first, and that's what
and
that's what I love about Nintendo. They stick to their guns no matter what it is.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. It goes back to the point that you were saying earlier on, like, you know, Nintendo has been true to what Nintendo is, and that's like, you know, that focus on family friendliness, accessibility. I know that this gen now, and it's been late in the Switch, run here, but now is when you're getting some third party support. Like, they want to jump on the bandwagon that, you know, the Switch is selling like hotcakes, you know, 53 million. They're like, okay, maybe we'll put our game on there now. So, I mean, which, cool. But who knows? Moving forward, like, I don't even think Nintendo even really was concerned. Bless you. Is concerned about that, because we've said here, and anyone who knows and loves Nintendo gaming knows that they have the best first party lineup. Period. In my opinion.
I don't see very many AAA companies really taking a shot at Nintendo's game, because Nintendo just knows what to put out. They know how to get money.
Yeah, I mean, and their games are just that, games. You know, you enjoy playing the Mario Karts, the, you know, Splatoon. You love playing those games. Luigi's Mansion, you know, games that we've mentioned. You know, Animal Crossing has had phenomenal success. I mean, this is the highest selling Animal Crossing, game in the whole entire franchise.
But the game is a beast.
It's just, I mean, it is what it is, but I'm just glad Nintendo is just doing what Nintendo does best, and the gaming is just, I mean, I have my Switch. I am engaged with my Switch. Not only am I playing Animal Crossing, but I'm playing that Link's Awakening. And I think it's the first time in a long time that I've actually been playing more than one game at a time.
Really?
Not to mention like on multiple systems. So, pretty cool there. But another game and Mario, actually that Mario Paper Mario Origami King is set to come out July 5th. Not July 15. Is it July 15? No, July 17. July 17.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yep. So that's not too far. Is it July? I'm trying to think. I'm second guessing if it's July or June. June 17.
On to
No, it's July 17 because there's another game that was actually came out on State of Play. PlayStation had a State of Play today. Did you check that out?
No. Once again, any company that's like, we got gameplay. I think they should just be about it.
You know what? I'm not even gonna disagree with you because we're still super salty. I mean, I'm still super salty about the whole gameplay / reveal. That Xbox, with its third parties said they were gonna have, and that's what they didn't do. But this State of Play from PlayStation, they actually had actual gameplay from their game Ghost of Tsushima.
Well, I'll go look that up.
Yes, go look that up. Go look it up. It happened today.
What'd you think though?
Oh, take my money, please. That's exactly how I was. And Ghost of Tsushima, Sucker Punch is putting it out. I'll be honest, it was not on my radar. I was like, this game's gonna be cool, but I'm not interested in samurais, and I'm just not interested. Like, I just looked at it and said, I'm sure it's gonna be great. Sucker Punch is a good developer, a great developer, but I just wasn't like, it wasn't on my radar. And today, like, again, for me, out of the blue, I just saw like the announcement, like State of Play. I didn't catch it live, but I saw it after the fact, and actual gameplay, like real gameplay. And we're talking about not next gen, we're talking about PlayStation 4 gameplay for another game that's coming out July 17, the same as Paper Mario, and the game looks great. I was getting some Witcher 3 vibes for whatever reason, like Witcher 3, Horizon Zero Dawn type vibes.
That says a lot, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, go check it out. But it looked great. The story is appealing from what I'm hearing. The way you can play, either Shogun, Samurai. Your customization is not just going to be for looks. Your actual look of your character comes with attributes and your game style. So you can play like you're going in as a warrior, or you're going in as a ghost, like stealth. And it caters to that style. You can build your character to be, the type of character you play, your game style. Dope.
Oh, that's sexy.
It is. And actual gameplay. I can't stress that enough. Actual gameplay. The world looks great. Go check it out. It's like a 25-minute presentation, but you don't have nobody sitting at a table showing you some, CGI graphics, telling you, this is a representation of what it's gonna look like. No, it's the actual game running
Well,
on PlayStation. No talking heads, just gameplay.
well, you know what? Somebody learned something. That's all I can say.
I don't even. You know what? I'm. Hey, I'm gonna be crystal clear. Jay, I've said it here on the podcast, and I'm not taking these words back. My console of preference is what? The Xbox, right?
Fuck.
Xbox.
That goes without saying.
Now, I've said it. I'm not gonna switch sides now. I'm a gamer. I prefer the Xbox ecosystem, but they caught a fat L once again. And when I saw the state of play today showing Ghost of Tsushima, I was like, and this is the reason why. I was reminded, this is the reason why PlayStation does not have to announce any next gen games. They don't have to show their system. I was reminded that they put out these games that are going to be hits. They're going to have compelling stories. You want to play them, and they give you what you want. The gameplay. That's it. No beating around the bush.
Oh, that's absolutely true. But let's just hope that these companies learn their lessons with that whole sentiment, because sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Lord knows they need to learn something before it's too late.
I tell you what, Jay, after this last, and I know it was a third party, quote unquote, hyped up game reveal, and I put that on Xbox because they organized it. They bought their third parties that are quote unquote in partnership with them, Ubisoft, and they just, they had to apologize after the fact and say, oh yeah, we kind of hyped this up and we didn't deliver, and we realized that now. You know what? Nah, I'm not. I'm with you now in my thought that I'm not excited for June. If there is anything in June, I'm not excited for July. Whatever, whatever
Yeah.
comes, if it comes, that's fine. But after watching Ghost of Tsushima today, actual gameplay, 25 minutes, the developer was explaining and talking about the game. Again, behind the scenes. The forefront thing was the game. The game was out there. You can see it live. They were talking behind the scenes. After today, I was like, I don't care what Xbox puts out. I love Xbox. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna run out and get a Series X the first day, because I am. But as far as what they could present, I don't care. I really don't. I'm just like, I really don't care. I don't.
Well, they make it easy for you not to want to care. I mean,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
No, and the thing is, the reason why, and I realized the reason why I was so upset and felt let down, it's not so much for me. I'm a consumer. I'm an Xbox consumer. It's just that I want them to get it right for the 99 other percent that are not gamers. You know what I'm saying? Because Xbox success means more games for me. It means more revenue, more money, and more games for me.
Games for everybody.
Well, yeah, but I'm just talking about me. I don't care about everybody.
Oh, come on,
I'm
man.
just
Why
saying.
you gotta say like Isabel to say I don't care about y'all?
Just like I don't get when people out here say, oh, Xbox sucks and PlayStation is the best, and we want to see Xbox die. No, you don't. You don't want Xbox to die, because then there's no competition, and then there's a monopoly, and sooner or later, people get greedy or greedier. And when there's no competition, then you only have one choice and one choice only. And you'll get to a point where you're like, nah, we can't do this. You want how much for this game? How much for this
So,
console?
do you know what you just explained?
What was that?
That would be the John Madden football effect. When 2K left and everybody, all you had was John Madden. Hey, they made their money, but now what? Everybody's just like, yeah, it's John Madden. Ooh, look at the people in the stands. Ooh, they can hit just a little bit harder, or they move. Man, get out of here. Improve yourself. You ain't got
Yeah.
nobody else out there, so you can pussyfoot around
Yep.
making this game because you know people going, well, I want to play football. Well, we got
Right.
20 million seller right here, so let's just add a little tweak here, add a little touch there, put a little paint there, send it out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Sorry, I'm
it's
complaining.
pretty much I mean, and I don't play Madden. I haven't played Madden since back in the days, put it that way. I think the last Madden I touched was I don't even think I touched one this generation. It might have been at the end of the 360. Maybe. I don't even remember, to be honest with you. But anyways, but like you said, you know, when and we said it before, when 2K was in the game to do the football, I mean, there was competition. And EA got wise and said, "Oh, we need to, you know, secure this licensing and the rest is history." But talking about 2K, you just reminded me, and this is just in passing. Did you see the announcement for 2K Golf, PGA Golf?
Wait, what?
You don't know about that either, huh? Man, there's a lot of catching up you need to do, brother.
Oh.
Yes.
Hey, are you telling me I actually have to take a little bit of time out of my day to
Mm-hmm.
watch something that's actually informative?
Hey, I'm just letting you know, man. They had a little trailer. You know, it's like
No.
a little trailer. But yeah, 2K is in the PGA field now
Well,
in golf.
well, the question is, how did it look, and what did you
It
think?
looked it looked it looked legit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it had the character models, and you had the PGA Tour and the FedEx Cup, and you know what little I know about golf, but it looked like it could actually contend. Now I can see how they can already, I mean, that's just looking at the announcement. I can see how they can already improve on it, but that's going to be a year to year to year. And if they make a solid game that is, you know, handles right, looks decent, gives these golf courses, gives you a good, you know, I don't know if it's going to be more of an arcade style or simulation. It gave me the impression that it's going to be more like a simulation. I'm all right with that. I'm okay with that. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I literally saw that on a trailer before hitting the stream button to go live. So
Wow. Oh, you did a lot. Oh, man.
yeah.
You
No,
put
I'm
this.
saying before we went live here with the podcast tonight, I like literally I saw that before
I'm gonna
I jumped on here with you.
have to check that out.
Yeah, look it up, and yeah, you guys listening, check it out. I mean, you know, 2K pretty much put to bed the whole wrestling series. They said they wasn't gonna release one this year. They were gonna skip and you know, and work on the next one for next year. So, but that was after fans pretty much tore it up and said
Well,
this game is trash.
the previous game was absolute gurball.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, I'm sorry, but if you're gonna put out garbage games, why should I give you my $60?
Well,
That's
and
my
that's just it. Like you were saying with Madden before, you know that, and that's not a criticism to talk down to anybody. Everybody's gonna play whatever they want to play, but you know, there's people that year after year are gonna pick up the next Madden, are gonna pick up the next Call of Duty, and whatever other games are out there that every year they just tweak it a little or change something here, change something there, but it's not really like a whole fresh brand new game. It's just, you know,
Well, it's not going to be
it is
fresh
what
and
it
brand
is.
new because
Yeah.
why do you need to work that hard when there's no competition?
Well, again, I mean, I think that should go without saying. When there's no competition, and it goes back to what we were just talking about just a few minutes ago. I don't want Xbox to fail. I don't want PlayStation to fail. I don't want Nintendo to fail. I want gaming to thrive across the industry. And when I see Nintendo getting a port of Witcher 3, I'm like,
Which is
that's
amazing, right?
amazing. What are you gonna say, Jay?
I said I was just saying it's amazing how everybody. Remember when the Switch was coming out and everybody was like, it's Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
They not gonna do nothing, and third party support just showed up, and Nintendo was like, oh, if you think this is what we got, you got another thing coming.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, that Nintendo has had in its history those hits and those misses. And when Nintendo hits, they hit hard. And when they miss badly.
That's
So,
very true.
but I'm glad that on the Switch they're porting over games that otherwise would have been stuck on the Wii U, you know. And so I'm glad that they're porting games. I ain't got a problem with it. If the game was fun and I want to play it on my Switch, I'll pay it. I'll pay the money. That's fine, because I'm getting something I want, not something that I didn't ask for and you're pushing it off on me, or trying to push it off on me like it's something new just because it's a new system. Nah. But Nintendo knows what it's doing. So,
Always. So you told me you wanted to tell me earlier about a new engine that has graced our presence. What you got for me?
oh, well, you didn't see the show because you said you wasn't interested whatsoever. And you probably would have been interested in the first maybe 10 minutes of the presentation. Jeff Keighley put out, what's it called? Summer of Game Fest or something like that. And pretty much announced Unreal Engine 5 actually running on a PlayStation 5, and they showed a game that was just developed. It's not a game that's coming out, but it was just developed to show off Unreal Engine 5. And Unreal Engine 5, of course, belongs to Epic. Epic by Fortnite.
Gears would be more of their staple. If you know them, you know Gears. Because
Gears?
Gears of War, Batman, Dragon Ball.
You talking about Epic Games?
Yeah, Epic.
Okay.
The Unreal Engine. Go look at Gears of War
Yeah,
103.
yeah. Okay. No, I just want to make sure. Yeah, you're talking about the engine. Okay. That's the engine that those games were developed on. That's what you're saying. Yeah. Not that they belong to Epic or anything like that, but
well, Epic developed the engine to begin with.
Right.
So, but the engine was so easy to work on, so easy to do things with. Rocksteady was like, "Can we get that?"
Right.
All these.
Go ahead.
All these other companies were smart. Because if I had it like that and I was smart, I'd want to do it.
Right. And the thing is that now with the official announcement of Unreal Engine 5, again, being shown off, there was two things that stood out that have been talked about to death. And I'm not going to talk about it to death or get into any technicalities because honestly, I'm not the person for it. But two things they mentioned was nanite technology and lumen technology. And pretty much those two things are things that affect um not only the illumination, like real time illumination in the game, where it's not just drawn in, but it's actual, like it can actually be manipulated like real light, casting like actual shadows, real time shadows and all that other stuff, and reflecting and all that other stuff. But also the nanite, in a layman's term, how I understand it, is the rendering of pixels, and you're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions of pixels, naked eye can't catch, but it takes the strain off of, your system, where otherwise you would be using a bunch of resources, and that would slow down your system, give you, frame drops. It would give you pop in. Like, you've ever played a game where in the distance you don't really see what's up ahead, and then as you're drawing closer to it, things start popping in.
Fear.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say the new Ghost Recon has that, and I played it
Oh,
on the X, and you see that pop in, coming in hard. And so on these next gen consoles, that's going to be a thing of the past, because you're not going to have, you have enough power, more than enough power in these systems, that you're not going to get these pop in textures. They're just going to be either already captured, like movie capture, and they're in the
yeah.
game and rendered, and they're there. And then with this, luminous technology, and of course, variable rate tracing and ray tracing and all this, and variable rate shading and all this other stuff, all this other technology, it's just gonna make things that much nicer, nicer looking and smoother and whatnot. So pretty interesting. After that 5 minute, 5 or 6 or 7 minute, like, actual demo, where it showed it off. Then there was a conversation that went on for like another half hour, which, it wasn't bogged down with technical stuff, but it was pretty much them discussing, how Unreal Engine is going to be out there pretty much for all platforms, and for developers to take advantage of, and to, facilitate their games on these next gen consoles.
Well, yeah, it's a money grab. Epic got to make that money. I ain't
Well, I
mad at
mean,
him.
hey, it's I don't see it as a money grab. I see it as, hey, you got an engine, you got a tool, and people want the best, and if that's the best, then they won't pay. That's how it is. That's how it works.
Yeah, most games have a main engine that they work on
Mm-hmm.
anyway. For example, I mean, you got that engine, but then there's the Resident Evil engine,
Mm-hmm.
which is what you're experiencing right now in Resident
Mm-hmm.
Evil Remake,
Yeah.
which that engine was developed for RE7.
Right.
And, I mean, companies are smart. I give these guys credit. They can do what I can't,
Mm-hmm.
so once again, give props when props is due, people.
Yeah, and the thing with these engines is, just like Unreal Engine 5, that as these developers work with these engines, they start to learn the engine better and better, and they start to, maximize what they have. And that's just how it works until Unreal Engine 5.1 or 5.2 or 5.5 or whatever it is next. And that's just how it is in the industry. That's how it works. Just like we should not expect day one or even year one any games that are truly going to show next gen, graphics and gameplay, that these systems are capable of, because there's no games out there that have been developed except first party games, um, because the tech wasn't in the hands of these developers.
Well, you know what though? The tech gets in the hands of these developers sooner than you might think, because if it didn't, how could they develop these games now and show them off with, because this you got to remember, when these system kits come out, it's a few years in the making. They just gonna go, well, we got a new system in development. We're going to introduce it in, you know, in 3 months, have something ready. No, they give them cat. They already have this stuff long. That's why I was like, oh, this game was in 4 years in development. Like, wait, this system wasn't announced 4 years ago.
Yeah, well, that's why I said, and maybe you didn't hear me, but that's what I said, that except for first party, those are the in-house game developers for both, if we're talking about Sony and PlayStation, those are the guys privy to this engine early on. Third party, no. Third party doesn't get dev kits and whatnot until, the system is probably, and this is just my guess, but further along and closer to being complete. So like for instance, this Assassin's Creed Valhalla, they're putting out a game that they want to include with or near the launch of the systems. But Valhalla is not going to give you next gen, experience. You're not going to get that. I don't care what you play on, because they're a third party. At the end of the day, they're third party. They did not have this system in their hands for as long as like the first party had it. So what you're gonna get, and the reason why I'm saying that, there was a report, I don't know if you saw it, but a lot of people are upset, gamers, I should say, that care about this. Ubisoft put out a report that Assassin's Creed Valhalla, is gonna run at a minimum of 30 frames per second. And I mean, if you're a gamer and you know anything about gaming, like you're involved, like I am, like Jay is, that's unacceptable. 30 frames for all the juice and the power that these systems have, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to give us an option and say, okay, you could run a locked 30 at 4K, which again is ridiculous. I think the base, looking at the specs of these systems, you could run 4K 60. Easy. Okay? That should be the baseline. But they're saying, and again, it's the wording, at the minimum 30 frames. So what does that mean? Does that mean there's going to be an option to run the game at, let's say, half the resolution of 4K, 2K, or 1440p, and you get 60 frames per second?
There's no telling. I mean, they can say minimum 30. Okay, so you're telling me it's not going to drop down no more than 30 frames. Well, what's the max? Tell me the max.
Well, they probably can't. And that's my point. It goes back to, they probably haven't had in their hands this new tech long enough, and they've hit some sort of snag or something. I mean, a lot of people are commenting, a lot of people are commenting and saying this, that, and this is what we've been used to, and it's in a sense it's our fault as well, because games in the days ran 60. Now, they wasn't the best looking games, but as far as frame rates, 60 frames is not something revolutionary or brand new to console gaming. But the thing is that, remember when the jump was made from SD, standard definition, to high definition?
Oh, God, yeah.
Right? I mean, I remember my first experience was with, I think it was Gears, was it Gears 1 or Gears 2 on the 360? It might have been Gears 1. Might have been. But my point is, I remember when I purchased my first high def, 1080 capable TV, okay? And it had a game mode in it. And when I put that system on that TV And I went into the options, like I was clueless. I went into the viewing options and I saw that it had a resolution higher than 720p.
Oh yeah, that
I
was decent.
saw, I remember it was 1080i. It had the 1080 interlaced. And I switched over from 720p to 1080i on Gears. My mind was blown.
Well, I'm not that much of a tech junkie. I was just like, what kind of cool TV I need to play this game? Ooh, and I just went and bought it.
Yeah. Well, I'm letting you know that my mind was blown because I switched from 720 and then I remember I was sitting there and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna click it on 1080 now. And when I looked at it 1080, you can see the details like more vividly on the armor and on their face. And it was like, wait a minute, am I really seeing the same game? And then I
Yeah,
would click it back to 720 and you didn't see the detail. And then I clicked it back to 1080 and I was
yep.
like, no, this is real. Like, I'm telling you, I had a moment there where I was like, I'm never going back. I'm never going back. And then you see the jump from 1080, high definition to 4K. And so that's what the industry has been focused on, is making these beautiful looking, games at 4K, but what suffers in the console space? The resolution. Oh, not the resolution, the frame rate. And companies are like, well, we'll make something look pretty and shiny, and that's what 99% of the people care about, that it looks great. They're not going to notice frame rates. And the 1% of gamers like us who do know and feel the difference with frame rates, we're the ones shouting and jumping up and down and saying, no, it shouldn't be 30 frames. It should be at least 60 frames.
There was a game that came out on PlayStation 1. It's a fighting game called Tobal 2. And they told you on PlayStation 1, this game is capable of running 60 frames. Game only released in Japan. And now you can look it up, and there's a patch. But a PlayStation 1 game was running at 60 frames.
And you know where you will realize, like I gave the example of the resolution, from 720 to 1080, and then from 1080 to 4K. First of all, it's something that you have to see for yourself, right? Because I didn't really understand 4K or what the big deal was about 4K until I actually stood in front of a 4K screen. That's when I was like, oh, I see. And then once you see it, you can't unsee it. You know what I'm saying? You can't like fool yourself and say, nah, it looks the same. No, it don't. It don't look the same. Even though I know there's people that scientifically have proven that we don't see in 4K, blah, 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 blah. Hey, that's the science. But what I'm seeing, whether I'm being fooled or not by my brain, is that 4K looks way better than 1080. That's just what my eyeballs see. So the same thing with frame rates. I'm going to give you an example, and I wish I could show you, but if any of you guys get the opportunity, if you've always been a console gamer like I have all my life, never owned a gaming PC, never played on a game on PC. The first time I experienced Doom, the new Doom, not the old one, and not Doom Eternal, the one that just came out, but Doom. The first time I experienced Doom on my gaming PC at 1080, 144 hertz. So we're talking about twice the frame rate of your TV. It doesn't matter what TV you own, unless you own a more updated, like my OLED C9, which is capable of 120 frames, the refresh rate. All TVs out there are 60 frames. That's all you're gonna get. You could run, I'm gonna exaggerate, your computer or whatever you attach to it could run at a refresh rate of 1,000,000. If your screen is only capable of 60, that's all you're gonna get. You're not getting nothing else, okay? That's how that works. So when I play Doom on my computer screen and I experienced the buttery, smooth frame rate, the speed, you cannot like unsee that. You cannot like unexperience that. And I go to play Doom on my Xbox One X at 60 frames. It's not the same. It's not.
Well, I think everybody's going to have different opinions. You'll probably have a techie say, well, if you make this adjustment, you'll get it. If you do this, you'll get it. And hey, I'm cool for any argument. But at the end of the day, guys, we all have an opinion, and let's respect our opinions. I mean,
but Jay, the point that I'm making, is this. It's simple. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. If you play on a screen with a machine attached to it, let's say the Xbox Series X, the PlayStation 5, who are going to be able to run your games, if the game is developed, run your game at a locked 60 frames or 120 frames. Once you experience that and you play that, that, then you're going to know why there are people that know this to be true on PC. And you're going to know why, and you're going to feel cheated because you're going to say, why in the world am I buying a $500 system that is capable of 120 frames and you still want to give me a 30 frames per second game? There's no reason for that. None. The only way that they'll get away with it is if we accept it. If we don't say nothing as console gamers, if we say, you know what? I don't care. No one knows the difference. Blah, blah, blah. No, you don't know the difference because you've never been exposed. Once you are exposed, it's like getting educated. When you're ignorant to something, then you don't know. Okay, you have an excuse. You don't know. But once you know and you continue to live a certain way or think a certain way or be a certain way, then it's no longer ignorance. It's willful stupidity.
And I was gonna say that some people, and I guess I'll say it for some people don't want to learn or don't care to learn. Don't want to be exposed. Just give me my game. Let me drop my money. I'm out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So what's the point in trying to explain something to someone when they don't want to learn it in the first place?
Yeah, or they don't care. Yeah. I hear you. I know. And I'm not talking to those people. I'm talking to the people who are even remotely curious and saying, well, what's the big deal? Like, I don't understand if my game looks amazing and I'm having fun and all of that's good. That's wonderful. That's great. But I go back to the point of, okay, let me explain why you paid the money you paid and what you should expect. It's like I got I can have a 8-valve engine, but I'm only using, I can have an 8-cylinder engine and I'm only using two cylinders.
I can see where you get that from. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know I have an 8-cylinder. They told me, hey, you got a powerful 8-cylinder engine. This car is amazing, blah, blah, blah. But I put my key in it and I'm only doing 30. When I could be doing 130.
That'll hurt my soul. Sorry.
So that's my point. I'm relating it to hopefully something that could be relatable to people and maybe simplifying it because, yeah, you can get all messed up and wound up in the tech talk. It's just understanding, and this is what Microsoft and PlayStation have to do as far as their marketing moving forward, to explain to people. And if they don't do it, we have to do it. I feel like a moral responsibility to tell people, hey, this is the reason why this costs this much money. It's not to make a game look prettier, because to be honest, I threw on Resident Evil 2, this remake, and I was like, this game looks great. And that's on my Xbox One X. I played The Last of Us and finished the game, and I was like hugging myself and saying, I love my PlayStation 4 Pro. Like, who cares about next gen? Like, I could care less about next gen in a sense, because I still got all these amazing experiences and all these amazing games that I have in my hands right now.
That's true. And just to spoil it, brother, RE3 looks better than RE2.
I bet. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does.
You gotta get it.
So my thing is, I might be in the minority, but when you're educated about something, my question is, okay, what am I getting for my money? Why should I be excited? Why should I care? Why should I upgrade? Like right now, I got a gaming PC, and it's been a work in progress for multiple years, and I'm still learning, but I understand now why I want to, not that I need to immediately, but I want to get a better monitor, because I cheaped out on the monitor. I said, nope, just give me a monitor that gives me 144, hertz, the refresh rate, but I only got a 1080 monitor, and I didn't think anything of it. But my graphics card is capable, more than capable, of 1440. So I'm not getting 1440 on my computer screen. I'm getting 1080. It looks nice. And you guys that are watching this video, you'll be able to see the video at 1440p 60 frames, because that's what I'm recording at. I could record at 4K if I wanted to, 4K 60, but I'll never see nor enjoy the benefit of it on my current computer monitor, because it's only a 1080. See what I'm saying?
Makes a lot of sense.
So I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have been so cheap, but I didn't know. That I was ignorant. Now that I know, I'm like, okay, so I'm shopping for a 1440, 144 hertz, and specifically an IPS panel. Because there's different panels that make, the viewing and all that. There's just little intricacies that a nerd like me likes, and I'm interested, and I like to be informed. That's all.
Well, I get it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people that think like you get it. But at the end of the day, if somebody wants to live in the world of ignorance, you can't stop it.
Yeah, like Jay says, at the end of the day, you can get as involved as you want to, or you can just pretty much say, you know what, I don't care, and do whatever you want. We're just sharing knowledge with whoever wants to hear it, and if not, if you tuned out a long time ago, I'm sorry, but if you're still around, appreciate you guys for hanging out, for being here, hearing us blab. Before we close out, Jay, because we're pushing an hour and 26 minutes already, I do want to talk a little bit about The Last of Us, because I don't know where we got off on a tangent, but if you don't mind. And guys, if you're listening to this is your opportunity to run out the room if you haven't finished the game. If you haven't played the game, please play the game. Please take it from somebody who it took 6 years for me to get through this game, only because I started playing it, like I said before, twice and never finished it. I put it down, but I saw it through on the third time. Third time's the charm. So it might be a little bit spoiling here. So for you guys, I'm just gonna check out with y'all. Appreciate you. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button, for leaving a like, leaving a comment, checking out DarkDad99 on Mixer.com. Go hit him up with some love. Follow. and all that wonderful stuff. The audio of this will be on anchor.fm, and we are also on Google Podcasts and other platforms. So just check us out, DFG Podcast. You can't miss us. So that's a hard out on that one. Now, The Last of Us. Jay, I said it before. I said it a moment ago. I finished The Last of Us, rolled the credits, and I just sat there. I sat there and hugged myself and was so happy to have finished a great game.
My brother said he hugged himself.
Yeah, I mean, there was all these emotions. It was like, not just that I finished the game, but I felt like I actually did something, played a meaningful game. The story was impactful. The ending left it on a cliffhanger. When Ellie looks at Joel.
Oh yeah.
And tells him, first of all, the whole journey was crazy. But then to make it to where the hospital was, the fireflies, you kind of already had that sense that she was going to be sacrificed in order to, quote unquote, get the cure. It's kind of like that story, and the analogy's been given before, where if your child had like the only antibodies in their blood, would you give up your only child for all of humanity to live? You've heard of something like that before. That's kind of like the story of The Last of Us, and what makes Ellie so special. She carried this immunity, but the only way they can get to it was to literally sacrifice her, and open her up, I guess, and go into her brain or whatever it was. And pretty much she wasn't gonna make it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and Joel was like, didn't want anything to do with it. He lost his own daughter in the beginning of the game, so that relationship between him and Ellie just flourished throughout the game.
Well, he was a little apprehensive at first because
oh yeah,
thinking the guy I've been through. So yeah, I could see.
But that father kind of instinct just kicked into overdrive, and he eventually saw himself, and I honestly think like Ellie started responding to him like a dad. Like she picked up on it. But you also, I realized that she was also like coming into her own. So there was kind of like, for me, again, in my experience, there was kind of like that balance there. It was, in the story, it was kind of tricky to see Joel kind of like looking to Ellie as, okay, this is my second chance because I lost my daughter, but now I can protect this daughter that's been given to me.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that was, he always fought against getting attached, but he did get attached. And Ellie wasn't his daughter. Ellie was her own person, and she was coming into her own. So that dichotomy there, it was well done. That was a big part of the story. But to see that last scene at the hospital, and he pretty much was like, I ain't having it. She's going with me.
And my brother was like, nah.
Yeah, he went on that rampage and got her. Did you kill the doctor that like, came at you with like the scalpel and was like, don't move or whatever? And you have a gun in your hand, and he had like a scalpel or something. I shot him in his chest quick. I let the other two live, but
nah, that brother had to go.
Okay.
I was pulling the trigger.
Yeah, the first thing that I thought was like, if I let this doctor, quote unquote, live, as soon as I turn my back together, he's gonna stab me. So I'm
Well, it's
like,
not for me. It's like if there's gonna be one crazy doctor, there's gonna be another. I'd rather nip it in the bud now.
okay,
I'd have killed them all if I could. I mean, I hate to say it. I know it's
yeah, no,
busted.
I hear you. I hear you. I mean, I killed the one doctor, and the other two, they were kind of cowering in the corner. Snatched up Ellie, and then that scene was again, it's powerful. Like he's been through it, and he has her, and he's running like trying to get to the elevator, and I mean, I never once felt like I was going to run into a dead end or something. It just almost felt like you were being led to where you had to go. I don't know if you got that sense, if you remember,
It's
but
been a while since they last
yeah.
one.
But anyways, I mean, that last scene before they get to the town, where she just tells him like, swear to me that you're telling me the truth, pretty much, that they had given up. He told her they all gave up on looking for, there's been others, and they failed in looking for a cure, and basically, you know end the story. And she comes back to that at the end before they go into the town, and she's like, Joel, swear to me that that's what really happened. And he looks her like dead in the face, like doesn't blink, doesn't flinch or nothing, and says, pretty much, yeah, I swear that's the truth.
I think most parents in that particular situation, most parents probably would have did what Joel did.
Yeah, you think so?
I mean, looking at it from a parent's perspective, whether you're not gonna kill my child, and I don't know what the cure is going to. I don't know if that's the true purpose of it. They can tell me that all day, but don't mean it's true. So I'd have been like, nope, nope, I can't do it. Yeah, I know it's busted, but
I mean, I think about it, and because again, the journey was for that purpose. I think
true.
they knew, like, when you start off, Joel was like, okay, this is just a mission. There was no, and obviously they were two strangers. But as the journey went on and time went on, hey, they're human beings. They got attached, and it's rough to say, like, to think of it from that point of view. Like, this was the mission, this was the whole purpose. And I think that Ellie, like, had that insight. Like, she was willing, like, she was like, hey, I know we got this relationship, like, this is me just saying, like, but I got from her, like, hey, I care about you, Joel, you care about me, but this is the whole purpose, this is the whole reason why we made this trip.
True. I mean, she was in it for the right thing, and so was Joel. But at the end of the day, how could could you? If you had a little girl and the world rested on, hey, we got to cut our brain open and get this out to make sure everybody's gonna live, you're gonna look at them like, no, my dead body, you gonna do that?
I mean, yeah, and that's the whole point. Like, that's the classic, dilemma. I mean, I don't, I have no shame in saying this, but when you read scripture texts and talk about the Bible now, you read John 3:16. That's basically the premise. For God so loved the world, he gave his only son.
I agree.
And so it's almost like, it's almost like putting us in that dilemma, in that situation where, hey, the price of salvation, to save all of humanity moving forward, is the sacrifice of the one son.
True.
you know? And so when you put it in that perspective, you know, and I say that, I laugh. I'm kind of smiling here because I mean, I'm just bringing it up because there's people that will hear this and say it's not the same. This is not religion, blah blah blah. I'm not talking about religion or faith now. I'm talking about that that's the premise. That's the premise. The sacrifice of one for the whole. See what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
a lot
And it's what, you know, whether you want to acknowledge it or not or believe it or not, that's Christianity. Christianity is God so loved the world, he voluntarily, willingly gave up his only son, his beloved son, for all of humanity.
You're absolutely right. I mean, you can't argue that point. Well, let me take that back. Some people can argue that.
Yeah. But my point with it is, like what you were saying before, it puts you in that state of mind where you think, you know what? Would I be able to? Would I be willing to? And I think you spoke as the majority of any parent, any father, possibly even me. You know, I would be like, that's my daughter. That's my kid. I know it's all of humanity, but you really wouldn't, I mean, you really wouldn't know unless you're there. Like, it's
Oh yeah.
staring you in the face. But the flip side of that is that this was a relationship that developed between them. It wasn't that this was his daughter. He acted on his own, you know, past regrets and failures and guilt, you know, and he assimilated and took on Ellie as his daughter. But did he have a right to do that?
Well, no, but I mean, when two humans bond and they go through something together, it's only inevitable that you're going to get close, and it's just human nature by that point.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, and I'll admit if I'm wrong, I'll eat it.
Yeah, I mean I don't think there's a right and wrong. I think it is exactly for this conversation that we're having. You know, I'm looking at it from the point of, you know, I'm trying to be as objective as possible, and you know, Ellie seemed like she was really like bent on this has to be done. But Joel decided no it's not. And she had
Well,
no say, you
oh
know?
well, yeah. Well, Joel didn't. Joel figured it out a long time ago. Like, yo, you ain't going out like this.
Right.
She did the honorable thing. Her mind was on the honorable task of for the human race to have a chance. I'm willing to risk it all. And
Hmm.
Joel was like, baby girl, you still young. You got a life to live. So no. I mean,
Yeah, no. Joel, again, Joel to me, he had lost at the loss of his daughter and all those years in between, which the game doesn't tell us anything, but you see this man, you know, he became a stone cold killer. I mean, he was a survivalist. Anyone and everyone who got in his way, he ain't think twice about taking them out, you know? Um, but again, it was like, to me, I'm thinking he had lost all hope in humanity. He could care less about his quote unquote fellow man because he was in full blown survival mode. And by him developing this relationship with Ellie and substituting her for his daughter,
I
you know,
mean,
I'm not saying it was right or it was wrong. It's just something like that made me think like, okay, I can see they can go in a whole bunch of directions in the sequel. And I'm saying that knowing that the sequel is already covered in a mess of garbage.
Yeah, the sequel isn't exactly in the best place right now.
Yeah. I mean, and the game hasn't come out, but unfortunately, these issues might not even be referenced or addressed or even remotely answered, and that would be a shame. I mean, if I have to live with the memory of The Last of Us and basically ending the way it did and completely ignoring the second part because it doesn't address or speak to any of these things, like it doesn't bring it to like a conclusion or bring closure, I should say, then I'm okay. I'm okay with just leaving it at that. It
Kind of,
ended with part one, and that's it.
kind of letting you have your own ending in your mind, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Which is, I think, is pretty cool. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have a written ending when you can kind of debate the ending yourself and have a
yeah,
good debate on it.
yeah. I mean, like kind of like what we're doing now. Like, we could talk about parts of the story beats and when did this become this and when did you notice that. We're not gonna do that. I mean, we're just superficially touching it, but yeah, I'm just saying, I've played games where I've been satisfied with the ending, roll them credits, and the game kind of like it just for me it just finished. And then when they came out with the sequel, I've questioned.
Yeah,
I've said, well, is the sequel going to just build on the first one, or is it going to be a different story, or is it just going to be trash? Is it going to ruin the first one?
it depends on it all depends on how you take it at this point.
Right.
I mean, and that's the way everybody has to look at games in general. It's not about what this person says or what that person says. Revert back to work 40 hours a week. Is that game worth your $60? If it is, you buy it, enjoy it, move on.
Yeah, and I mean, I've
That,
shared with you, and I told you, I'm not going to run out and purchase it day one, but I can see myself eventually playing the game, and for what it's worth, and maybe at that time, who knows? If we're still around and we're doing this, we might comment on that. Hopefully, it won't take me 6 years, but who knows?
I can tell you right now, it'll probably be a year or two before I might play it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna play it right now because I just got better things to play.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
You
It's
know,
not a game that I have to play day one and it's on my radar. Like we mentioned here, we got a ton of games in our backlogs and whatnot. But anyway, that's a conversation for another
another day.
day. I don't know about you, brother. I'm ready to check out you running credits on this. You yawning,
Yeah,
and
hey man,
we
I'm
gotta
gonna
get
tell
out
you
of
right
here.
now. I'm gonna tell you right
What's
now. The Sandman is like giving me that. You know
Yeah,
that.
Sandman. I know he's been punching
It-
you, and
oh
you just
come
been
on,
taking shots. Yeah, I know. I know by your comments, man. The moment you
man.
start defaulting to, at the end of the day, it's your money. I know you done. So I know you
this,
too well, Jay.
this brother say when he go generic on me, it's
Yeah, man. I know. I know your brain is toast, but I appreciate you being here. Guys, again, if you're catching this on a podcast, make sure you share it out. The conversation is usually like this. Sometimes we have some guests, sometimes we don't. But we put this out here just to share our thoughts, conversation, what's going on, what interests us, what doesn't interest us. It's just two average guys talking about games, the thing we
playing
love.
games.
And at the end of the day, like Jay says, you gonna play what you wanna play, spend your money on what you wanna spend. It ain't about console wars. It ain't about, destroy one and, cause the other one to rise. We just want our games and we just want to have a good time. So with
I
that, I'm gonna
agree.
check out Jay. Anything you gotta tell these people before you yawn again and pass out?
Hey guys, once again, I'm not gonna be that guy neither. In time, please reach out to us. We want to bring you content. I enjoy doing it. If you want to see him play more games, screen up, acting the way he does, you gotta ask.
I'm gonna tell you, leave your comments, but I ain't promising you nothing. We gonna do what we want to do, whether that's a podcast, camera, no camera. We do it for us, for the love we have for gaming. So
we can put the ideas out there.
You can put your ideas out there. It don't mean that I'm gonna listen to you. I'm just being real. But
I mean, hey, look, understand the honesty here, guys, because he's being 100% honest. You can say, hey, we want you to go do a hula hoop and jump off the roof.
Yeah, you know what? The reason why I'm saying it, Jay, is because one, I'm old. I'm grown. That's number one. Number two, I could care less if you like me or not. I ain't in this for popularity. I ain't in this for nothing, not even subscriptions or nothing. I'm just thankful for the people who come around, check out the gaming, hang out with us. If you enjoy the content, you want to hang out with some gray heads, that's us. That's who we are. Sit outside on the porch, drink some lemonade, enjoy the day. That's our style. That's my style.
You know what?
But all that other stuff, nah. I ain't got time for that.
I got a new name that we should think about.
What's that?
Grayhead Central.
Grayhead Central is bro. I'm gonna leave you, bro. You need to go to sleep. It's time for you to go to bed. It's midnight.
Hold on, man. Come on,
it's time for you to go.
You know it's a good name. Give me some credit. Here.
Nah, man. I can't agree with you on that.
No, nope. Come on, man. You gotta give me some love on it.
Catch Jay on mixer.com/darkdad99. He brings a live gameplay if you're watching this on video. Again, catch us on audio. And with that, this is a wrap, people. Take care. Be good, do good, and keep your gaming and your life drama-free. Later.
Take it easy.